In 1947, a struggling British car company was days away from disappearing forever. No buyers, no money, no future. And then a single man walked through the door, an industrialist who knew nothing about building cars, and bought the entire company for £20,500. Less than the cost of a decent used car today. His name was Sir David Brown, and the two letters he put on every car he saved, DB, are still on the front of one of the most extraordinary Grand Tours on the road in 2026. This is the 2026 Aston Martin DB12, and the facts hidden inside this car are far more interesting than anything on the brochure. To understand what the DB12 actually is, you first need to understand what Aston Martin refused to call it. When the DB12 was revealed at the Monaco Grand Prix in May 2023, Aston Martin did not introduce it as a new Grand Tourer. They did not call it a successor to the DB11. They created an entirely new category, calling it the world's first Super Tourer. A term they invented because no existing label was accurate enough. Because what they built was a car that refused to choose between the long-distance comfort expected from a DB model and the outright dynamic performance previously reserved for dedicated sports cars. Not a compromise between the two. Both, simultaneously, in the same car. And then they backed that claim with numbers that made it impossible to argue with. Every DB12 is powered by a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, producing 671 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 590 pound-feet of torque. Available from as low as 2,750 revolutions per minute all the way to the red line. The result is a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 3.5 seconds and a certified top speed of 202 miles per hour, making the DB12 one of only a handful of Grand Tours in history officially certified to exceed 200 miles per hour. But here is the fact almost nobody talks about, and the one that changes everything about how you see this car. That engine was not built in England. It was built in Affalterbach, Germany, by Mercedes-AMG. Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz have maintained a strategic technology partnership since 2013, extended again in 2020, under which AMG supplies the V8 and holds an equity stake in Aston Martin itself. Meaning beneath the most quintessentially British body in the luxury car world beats a German heart. But here is what makes it genuinely fascinating. Aston Martin's engineers at Gaydon did not simply install the AMG engine and call it done. They re-engineered it, recalibrated it, retuned it to a completely unique specification that exists nowhere else, and then built a chassis around the engine's specific character. The result is what Car and Driver's 2026 review describes as the most emotionally involving DB in decades. A British car, a German engine, something neither company could have built alone. And now, the 2026 news that every DB12 buyer needs to know. This year, Aston Martin introduced the DB12S, a halo performance variant pushed significantly further in every direction that matters. The same AMG-sourced V8, now producing 690 horsepower through revised engine mapping, a redesigned exhaust tuned for a deeper and more theatrical acoustic signature, an optimized launch control system reducing gear shifts during maximum acceleration by 50%, cutting 0 to 60 to 3.4 seconds. Recalibrated Bilstein DTX adaptive dampers reducing body roll, dive, and squat. A stiffer rear anti-roll bar, refined geometry for sharper cornering precision, and a revised electronic differential and steering calibration that sharpens front-end confidence, without touching the GT ride quality that defines what a DB is supposed to feel like. Visually, the S is identified by a carbon fiber front splitter, a vented hood reducing front axle lift, black side skirts. Visually, the S is identified by a carbon fiber front splitter, a vented hood reducing front axle lift, black side skirts, a rear diffuser, a quad exit exhaust with staggered pipes, and a standard fixed rear spoiler. 3 S exclusive paint combinations, and S badging throughout, so there is never any confusion about which version is sitting in front of you. Step inside, and here is a fact almost no review gives enough space to. The interior represents the most comprehensive cabin redesign in Aston Martin's production history for any DB series model. The centerpiece is a pure black digital instrument system pairing two 10.25-inch screens within a driver-focused cockpit. where every physical control sits along the vehicle's center line to maintain natural hand position during dynamic driving. The center console rises from the transmission tunnel in a continuous sculptural form that makes the cockpit feel purpose-built rather than accommodated. The infotainment uses the Mercedes MBUX-derived architecture with a bespoke Aston Martin interface, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, over-the-air updates, and augmented reality navigation. The audio system is a Bowers & Wilkins premium surround sound setup. Speakers tuned specifically for the DB12 cabin's acoustic characteristics. Two of Britain's most respected craft brands, building one listening environment as obsessive about sound as the car is about speed. But underneath everything visible, the chassis technology layer of the DB12 is where the engineering story gets genuinely extraordinary. The electronic stability control system uses a 6-axis inertial measurement unit, a sensor array more commonly found in aerospace and motorsport applications than in road cars, measuring longitudinal and lateral acceleration, yaw rate, pitch rate, and roll rate simultaneously, not to react to grip loss after it begins, but to predict it before it happens, intervening earlier and more precisely than any reactive system physically can. This predictive ESC works alongside the electronic rear differential, the first eDiff ever fitted to an Aston Martin DB series production car, which can transition from fully open to 100% locked in milliseconds, far faster than any mechanical or hydraulic limited slip differential, giving the DB12 the ability to feel both perfectly composed under full throttle cornering exits and genuinely playful the moment you ask it to be. 5 drive modes complete the picture: GT Sport, Sport Plus, Wet, Individual. Not simple engine remaps, but comprehensive transformations of every active system simultaneously. GT mode opens the dampers, softens the differential, and relaxes the stability control for effortless cross-continent travel. Sport and Sport Plus progressively sharpen everything. Wet mode maximizes stability on slippery surfaces. And Individual mode allows you to mix and match chassis, powertrain, and stability settings into a personally calibrated configuration that can be saved and recalled every time you get in. The full 2026 DB12 lineup starts at $262,000 for the standard coupe and $268,086 for the Volante, the open-top variant whose electrically operated fabric roof opens or closes in 14 seconds at speeds up to 31 miles per hour, with a multi-layer acoustic construction that makes the closed Volante almost indistinguishable in cabin noise from the fixed-roof coupe. The new DB12S Coupe and Volante arrive in Q1 2026, with pricing expected above $280,000. Every single vehicle, hand-built at Aston Martin's Gaydon factory in Warwickshire, England, covered by a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty.